If there's loud music, I can't process. If there's people screaming and arguing, I can't process. I don't know if you guys have ever tried doing your taxes while kids are screaming in the background. What do? You yell at them to stop, don't you? Most of you, anyway. Try telling the truth. I recorded these people and put them up on YouTube for a reason. I can't function. I can't function. There is too much. There is too much for me to do myself without the resources to do it. Never mind the fact that I have to have someone go in with me to talk. Otherwise, the police will continually interrupt me over and over and over again. We're going to try something here. How do I? Oh, yes, I have speakers. Oh, my God, that fucking hurts. Now, these things are apparently wrong. I say apparently because they're only wrong if I do them back. When I treat people the way that I've been treated, they don't fucking like it. Imagine that. So let's see if we can. We'll have to do it on this side where the. Shit. I guess we'll have to do it this way because this thing right here, the plug-in is on one side, and this one right here, the plug-in's on the other. So let's. Oh my fucking God. Let's see if we can turn up the volume here. And we will open up some of these again. Let's see, recordings. We'll open this one up first. This is Amanda Daniels too. All right, I'm here.
Hey, what you doing?
Well, I'm at a friend's house currently, so he's still sleeping. What are you up to?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call, and I didn't wake anybody up, did I?
No, you're good. As long as I keep it down, he should be all right. Although he doesn't really sleep either, so he probably hears everything anyway.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was just calling. I'm probably only going to be able to meet up with you that weekend after Thanksgiving because we got to go through my mom's friends' stuff during the week. But I'm calling because I'm freaking out about leaving my kids.
Who are you leaving them with?
Oh, well, Corey is Anthony's dad. I've never left him and went out of state before. And I'm kind of freaking. It's just now hit me.
I get that. Tina and Laura have the same issue. They can't.
Ugh. I know they'll be okay. It's just.
You have that paranoia of what happens if they have a meltdown while you're gone.
That and Anthony's dad isn't very reliable, and you don't watch him. And I'm thinking, what if there's an emergency and I'm in Nebraska? And yeah. But I gotta go help my mom.
Yes, ma'am.
Lord have mercy.
Your mom actually, well, she's not real active on my Facebook. But she lets her presence be known.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice if we could get the resources for people like you to be able to. Well, it won't erase the anxiety, but it'll help out if there was adequate child care.
Yeah, it's hard to trust people. Yeah.
Well, your daughter should be alright, but I don't know about your son. He might not do so good without you.
No, I know. It's gonna be 9 days. He's not gonna see me actually, he's heading out there Saturday, and he won't see me until I get back the 4th that night. So it's gonna be like 13 days that he's not gonna see me. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But I'm doing it also not to just help my mom. I need a break from all my drama that's going on down here. So I'm going to go up there and help my mom and go see my friends and try to enjoy myself. But
I'll try to come up with some money so we can eat off the dollar menu at McDonald's.
oh, you don't have to worry about that. We'll just hang out, go do something. I mean, my dad's picking me up at the airport, and I'm gonna rent a car from this guy my mom knows in Cindy for like 2 or 3 days, and I'm just gonna go and do what I want for a while. You know.
Well, you can sure use it. You raised them kids up for, well, over 18 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't done anything for myself in a long time.
You don't get to. You have special needs kids.
Yeah.
You don't get a break. You don't get a vacation. They didn't even let you go to your sister's funeral. So, I mean,
Oh, that was my job. Yeah, they wouldn't let me go. Yeah. That's when I was a manager, and corporate would not let me leave to go to my sister's funeral. Yeah.
well,
Or they would have fired me.
hopefully you get a little bit of rest out of this. I mean, it might be stressful too because, being as far away from your kids and you kind of have those social dependencies too.
Yeah.
Not saying you need your kids, but you do.
Yeah. My mother is A lot of drama. And so is my brother. My brother lives with her.
Well, I don't remember your brothers as much. They didn't really. I guess they kind of hung out with Tara over at the house.
Oh, that was Andrew. I'm talking about my older brother. I'm talking about Jamie. He lives with my mom. Yeah, you've never met him. He's a big jerk, let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm used to those.
Yeah.
I guess that's something I shouldn't get used to, but bullying doesn't stop when you become an adult.
No, it does not.
Well, I'm trying my best not to be overwhelmed too, so I get you on that. I mean, I don't have any kids to worry about, but then again, I have a lot of kids to worry about because a lot of my friends have kids.
Yeah.
I don't want to care about their kids, but I knew their parents before they were born, and a lot of them, they got into alcohol and drugs. I'm like, I remember what a good kid you were before all of that.
Yeah.
And now a lot of their kids are like, John, I'm sorry. My mom says I'm not allowed to be friends with you. I'm like, it's all right. I'm still going to look out for you best I can. And most of them are adults now, so it's not like they can't. They want their moms to be happy or their dads to be happy. And
Yeah, I know how that is. My mom always plays me against my dad. She still does it till this day.
yeah, that'll probably never end. My mom and dad do that too, but neither one of them are talking to me right now. They're both mad at me for telling the truth.
That's just stupid.
Well, you don't know my dad. He's better than my mom. I can say that at least.
Well,
Not
yeah.
by much, but still, she's. You know how my mom is. She cares about herself. She cares about money. Her kids are.
Oh, I know.
Once she wasn't able to get money out of us, she really didn't care about us.
Oh, I know. I remember. Oh.
I wish I had a mom like you.
I really do.
Well,
Although you're younger than me, so that would be pretty freaky.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, it would.
Amanda, I asked her out when I was younger. My mom kept on telling me, you should ask Amanda out. You should ask Amanda out. She thinks you're the best thing since peanut butter. Amanda's allergic to peanut butter.
But I know what you mean by it. Oh,
Only did my
thank
family
you. I
take an
appreciate it because sometimes I feel like I'm not good.
She is a good person. She is such a good
I've
person.
known you almost as long as I lived in Nebraska. I mean, I can't think of you as a bad person because you've never shown me any sort of character flaws that would indicate such a thing. You take care of people like me.
Yep.
You just have a family to take care of, and I don't. Is there something I can do to help?
Well, the other thing that's going on is I'm separating from my husband. Yeah. He's still gonna help with the bills and everything, but he's gonna go live somewhere else for a while. So I guess it's kind of a blessing for me to get a break and go to Nebraska to get away from all this, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's a good start. It's good for your mental health too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I
my
hope it
therapist
is.
tells me all the time, self-care, man, it's self-care. I'm like, yeah, how do you want me to self-care if I'm too busy?
Yeah, I get that a lot too. A lot of people expected me to have everything done within a week. I'm like, shit, I still haven't found a positive environment to work in.
Well,
People got things that they expect of me, and while I'm busy trying to fulfill their expectations, I don't get anything done for me. And then they say, well, you know, Sean, you just need to let it go. And I'm like, you know, this isn't one of those situations where it's just people making fun of me. This is far worse than that.
well, I'm sorry I called you so early, but I need to thank you for helping calming me down. I need to get gas and get everything ready for my trip. I'll have a busy day.
You're good. I'm glad you called, actually. It probably bothered Chris a little bit just because he is trying to sleep, but he's not completely heartless.
Chris Stegeman.
Okay, well, I'll call you later if I get a chance, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I'll charge my phone to make sure I'm available. Be safe, all
All
right?
right. All
All
right,
right.
thanks, Sean.
You're loved. Be safe.
Bye.
Bye.
There are a lot of these.
Hello.
Hey, Amanda.
Hey, what's up?
Not a lot. You asked me how I was doing, so I figured I'd call.
Yeah.
I got a lot of anxiety. I relive this. But when I go through this, I need help.
So what's going on?
Just not having a good day, I guess. You know how it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you got autistic kids, although they're not as high functioning as me, so it's different. I know, but
Yeah. Well, is everything going okay where you're staying?
no, but they love me.
Yeah.
They love me enough to. I don't know.
What's going on? Are they crying a lot or what?
Nope. Nope.
Oh.
They
Okay.
just. I didn't come up here to get help like I did everywhere else. I came here specifically with the intent of saying goodbye and going up the mountain to die, I mean, it's.
Those are Jamie Curtis's.
And the boy doesn't know that, but his mom does. So it's
Yeah.
not like I was keeping secrets before I came up here. She knew. I let her know I just needed to be loved. And, when I got here, I found out that she let her predator back in her life.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, on the.
As James Payton. Now, the story that she told and the story that he told don't match up. A lot of people don't like that I post stuff online. The things that were said in court, these conversations prove that it's all bullshit, that the cops and the Bollingers outright lied. I feel bad for James. It's hard to feel bad for Jamie. She's been a player for a long time.
The bright side, she's got a boyfriend who's pretty badass, and I love him to death. I really do.
That's Mark Harmon, I believe is his name. I like him a lot. Of course, she was busy two-timing. She was dating Mark at the same time that she was dating James. Imagine how that made James feel to find that out. I wonder if Mark knows.
Well, that's good.
It is. Randy, you know my family.
Oh, yeah.
Am I the good one?
Yeah, to me you are.
See, that's the thing. People don't know my mom. They don't know my sister. They don't know my brothers. Eric's really not that bad, but Michael is such a...
Yeah.
You know, he's married. He shouldn't be calling a married woman trying to get some pussy, you know?
Oh, I know.
When you told me he was doing that,
Uh-huh.
I already knew, but, like, that's just because it's Michael.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder if his wife knows.
I wish you and Laura Nelson and Tina Span and my friend Mary, I wish all of you could get together. All of you guys got autistic kids, and all of you are struggling so hard.
Yeah.
It's tough to have relationships when you have autistic children. It's even tougher when you're autistic because you got to try to figure stuff out. And we live in a society where, like, all the most honest people I know are autistic, all of them.
Yeah.
And people don't like that. They're like, "You're being rude." I'm like, no. Like at Ken and Leah's, they're always telling their son that he's rude. And I'm like, no, he's not being rude. He's being honest. He's not sugarcoating it. He's not bullshitting you. And they bullshit him all the time. They're so mean to him, you know?
Wow.
You know that, though.
Laura Nelson, does she live in Chapel?
She does.
Okay, I was gonna say because I'm gonna be in Nebraska at the end of May for like 2 weeks.
Rory Jepson died.
Oh, I know. My mom told me. Yeah. A heart attack, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing is that I'm not a sexual predator. My grandpa was. Michael is. And my mom protected both of them.
Oh, I know. Michael is like her favorite child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because Tara's not happy with her. Tara got tired of her bullshit over a decade ago, but she keeps letting Mom back into her life, and then she complains to me that Mom's a meddler and keeps trying to fuck up her life.
Is she still in Dix?
I think she's in Potter. I'm not sure, though. I know that she's taking care of a registered sex offender.
Yeah, and she's got her daughter around that, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow, okay.
See, that's the thing is that I can't even be there to protect my own family. I love Tara. She's a twisted person, but I still love her, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, Amanda. Like, it's the thing with Natalie is she has as fucked up a family as I do. The difference is that my dad never, ever, under any circumstances, would have tried to have sex with me.
Yeah.
He never would have had me selling drugs like Natalie was. He never would have. He was in prison for cocaine, so I had those things happen in the system. Like, I didn't want to be raped. I didn't ask for that.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I got boogers.
And where's everybody at? Are you at the house? Or are they gone or what?
Yeah, the boys at school and his mom is at work. She works two jobs though, you know, like she's a good mom. She doesn't have any drugs in the house. She drinks, but it's not like she drinks to get drunk. She'll have maybe 2 beers a night, and then on Friday, whatever's left over, she'll polish off and get a little bit tipsy. But I mean, she buys a 6-pack a week, you know?
That's not too bad.
Right? Although it was a 12-pack this week, I'm a pretty stressful person to have around. I was sick the other day, and it was pretty fucked up. I ended up getting a pressure headache because this guy that was promised to help me, I feel bad because I need his help, but he's got cancer and he's dying, and he's got as fucked up luck as I do.
Yeah.
I miss so many people. I've been taking screenshots of you know what, the evidence just kept on getting stolen repeatedly, so I'm just posting it all up on the internet. I didn't want any of this to go to the internet. I wanted Natalie and Alicia and Maddie to come forward, and when they wouldn't, I went to the police and they blew me off.
Yeah.
Like, I never wanted to go public with any of this. Brett being on meth when I got there, like, oh my god, dude, that was so fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know how twisted my family is.
Oh, yeah. And it's just not one person, it's the whole family.
Well, I'm glad you never met my dad.
Oh, I probably would not have liked him whatsoever.
He's a bully, that's for sure. I begged people to help me how I needed, and it was no matter what, I get treated like I'm an autistic retard, and I'm like, you know, those two words aren't synonymous, right?
Yeah.
I got an IQ of 172. That's not slowed down, and that's what retarded means. It's slowed down.
I know. Yeah.
The problem is there's just so much going on. I don't know what to do.
Well, you can only go day by day, Sean. That's all you can do.
Yes, ma'am. My phone's gonna be turned off in 7 days, so I have about that long to get my affairs in order.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
I don't know what to do beyond that. I know that as long as I'm alive, people just aren't gonna listen. Natalie had the same problem. Like, I was the only person who actually listened to her, and she told me that.
Yeah.
And, you know, she had the same issues I did with everybody blowing her off and telling her those pretty words, but at the same time, like, she had people in her life, and after I hurt my back, I had nobody. I was no longer of any use to them, and I could see all these people going back to their predators, and I gotta wonder why I'm not even worth being friends with. All these people whose husbands are cheating on them and they want to work it out. And I'm like, you know, the first 5 times it didn't work out. And I don't want to tell them what to do or how to think or how to feel.
Yeah.
I've never been in a relationship. So, I mean, what the fuck would I know? I know that people don't want to be alone, and that has a lot to do with it. And then they say you got to do it all yourself. And I'm like, you know, all you people who are saying I got to do it myself, you're in relationships. Not you in specific. Just, but
I
you
thought
don't.
you were taking a dig at me because my husband's been cheating on me. That's what I thought.
No. See, that's the thing. Is it right after I said that I knew you were gonna, and I don't want you to feel like that because that's not what it's about at all. It's just the sheer quantity of it. Like, it's almost like every woman I know only wants to be in a shitty relationship with men who treat them like trash. And, you know, a lot of that, I can't say that because there are so many people going through it that they all take it personal because they're all going through it.
Yeah, I didn't take it personal. Yeah.
When Tara disappeared,
Uh-huh.
and one of Eric's friends, his name is Donnie, he gave me a gun, 22 long rifle to come up and shoot Riley with, and I'm not down with that, you know. I'm not going to shoot anybody. But I, as fucked up as shit as Tara's done to me when she disappeared, I still tried to help find her.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Like, why do the child molesters get away and why do I get treated like one? Why do the rapists get away and I get treated like one?
Yeah. I don't know. It happens all the time.
I know. You know, you and Tara used to be close friends.
Oh, I know. She don't talk to me anymore.
I know.
30 more
We
minutes.
reconnected, what was it, a couple of years ago. She started calling me. She was still living in Chapel at the time. And she started calling me, complaining about your mom. And then I guess your mom left or something, and she stopped calling me. I guess she didn't have anybody to complain to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard from her since. So.
Well, Tara didn't have very nice things to say about my mom, but she wanted to maintain the peace while I was there. And I took a lot of cheap shots from Mom. She was taking cheap shots at all of us. She didn't like Tara's dress. She wanted normal kids. She just wouldn't shut up about that. I'm like, Mom, you don't get to talk about normal. Your kids grew up in the system because you couldn't stay off the fucking cocaine. And then she's always been proud of being weird, but my mom's not weird in a good way.
Yeah.
Being on a Facebook ban all this time, like I just want to be heard, you know? I want the public to know what happened, the whole truth, not just the slander.
Yeah.
I want an honest day in court. I'm never going to get that. You know, that's why after all the meth and everything over at Moose's place there in Bristol, like I tried hard not to give up. I tried hard to believe that one of these people would come through, but like all of the people that I know that are sober can't do anything, and the rest of them, everyone's on drugs.
I want to pause this for a moment. I do have to point out, Jamie Curtis was not on drugs while I was up there. She had a THC pen that at the time would have been a felony, but now South Dakota has since passed the marijuana laws, so I can openly speak about that. Jamie had a pot pen and she let me use it while I was up there. Also, Jamie drinks a lot, so the more she gets to drinking, the more argumentative she gets, and the less she's going to hear anything you have to say. I was trying to explain to her that I needed an advocate. I needed someone to speak for me, that I couldn't do these things myself. And she started going off about how all these autistic kids in school have advocates and how they get to get away with bloody murder and stuff like that. Jamie, please don't hate me for stuff at the schools. I'm enduring a lot of abuse. When I made that Michelle Brannick profile, I was at Jamie Curtis's house at the time. Jamie said if she didn't have a son, that she would put me out of my misery for me. That was before Natalie was killed. There's a lot of stuff that I'd like to show you. I can't, though, because the evidence was lost and stolen. Police coordinated across multiple jurisdictions on multiple occasions to try to frame me for crimes that I didn't commit, to prevent me from being able to go to my court dates. By August of 2018, I'd gone to Miss Peaches for help so many times, and she didn't have it in her head. She didn't understand that I don't have the money to keep going back for help. That she's not following through on.
There's a lot of people that knew I was autistic before I ever got diagnosed.
Yeah.
But none of them came forward. And for me, like moving around all the time, not having a mailbox to have this stuff sent to, I mean, it's everywhere I've been is temporary. When I was in California, like I wasn't planning on being there for 2 months. I had to wait on somebody to keep their word that didn't.
Yeah.
And And then when they didn't keep their word, they treated me like shit because they didn't keep their word. And I'm so sick of that.
Well,
When I called you from the hospital in Wyoming,
mm,
do you remember anything about that?
you just called and said you were in the hospital and that you were getting released and you were going to head to California. That's what she told me.
Yeah,
I went to Shannon Alter.
that's what I did too. I was pretty messed up though. They injected me with drugs. I told them I don't consent, but they put the drugs in me anyway.
Ugh.
I wasn't yelling, I wasn't screaming, I wasn't nothing. Then after they put the drugs in me, I tore their fucking room to shreds.
Ugh.
Tried hanging myself with the wires I tore out of the wall. I keep telling them, don't fucking put drugs in me, you won't like me, but that's the thing, is that the things that I did, those are side effects from the drugs. And it says right on the drugs.
Mm-hmm. Well,
When I tell them I have adverse reactions to that shit, they should fucking listen. But that's the thing. They're doctors, so they know better than the patients about what the patient's body does. Like, fuck no, we're not all the same.
no.
So I'm not here to I'm not here to fight this battle anymore. I'm just trying to get as much of it re-recorded and posted as possible. That way, maybe when I'm gone, people will care, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be overwhelmed.
Oh, I know.
People don't understand what sensory overload is, like you do,
Oh, yeah, I know.
but I'm not allowed to be overwhelmed, so I have to just hide it.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to teach my son. You can't be overwhelmed. You got to calm yourself down. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem that Laura Nelson has, is that she was getting a phone call once a week from the school that her son was having a meltdown, and then she told them what her son's triggers are, hoping that it would help. And then every day she was getting a call after that. That shows that they weren't. That shows that they were intentionally pushing his buttons so they could get him out of the school. And then they find out he's the smartest kid in the school.
Yeah.
And he is.
But his that was because he got a lady in the school that was helping, and she was an advocate. That's what she did. That's what I needed. And he did extremely well while she was there, but then she got pregnant, and now he's back to having problems in the school because the teachers don't like him. You know, Chapel, Nebraska, they don't like you if you're different.
I remember my stepmom having to fight tooth and nail to get what Victoria needed. Yeah.
I miss Victoria.
I miss her so much.
I do too.
I have too many dead friends. And
I think I'm the only one of my family, my sisters and brothers, I think I'm the only one that, besides Jennifer, I think I'm the only one that actually misses Victoria. Yeah. My sister Robin, she didn't care. Jamie didn't care. Andrew doesn't care. Yeah.
see, that's so messed up because Victoria was just the sweetest person ever.
She was. You know, well, I had to raise her. I lived with my dad, and she was real little. I have all those pictures of me driving with her on my lap and everything. I was 16. I missed when she was little and I helped out all the time, you know. I'll never forget when I decided to move to Alabama. She gave me the cold shoulder and would not talk to me for years. She would not talk to me because she was upset because her favorite sister was moving out of state. Now,
When I found out I was your first crush, that surprised the shit out of me.
yeah. That's part of the reason I was always over at Tara's house. Part of it. Other part was because I couldn't stand being at my dad's anymore. Because I didn't like my stepmom.
Dawn? Yeah. I think Victoria had a pretty big crush on me too.
Yeah, Victoria was cute. There was, right before she died, Dawn told me there was a boy and they were going to go to homecoming together or something. I don't know, but I guess she must had a boyfriend or something, but I forgot his name. Yeah, and I couldn't get to the funeral. I was so upset.
That's terrible.
My boss wouldn't let me off because I was manager, and he would not let me off to go to the funeral. Oh.
I don't understand that. You're not allowed to have emotions in a capitalist society. You're not allowed to take care of your emotional needs. You're not allowed to. Work has to come before family. And why do you go to work? Because you love your family and you want to take care of your family.
Yeah, well, like right now, I'm about to lose my insurance, and I'm trying to find other insurance that I can buy, but nothing wants to cover mental health. Nothing. They'll cover all medical, all you need. But when it comes to mental health, nobody wants to cover it. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
I don't understand this world where mental health is not as important as medical health. Most of the people that have mental problems would feel a lot better if they'd have mental health insurance. Yeah.
But the other thing is that the mental health system that we have in the United States doesn't help. Like a lot of people, they go to these meetings for years and years, and then they get somebody decent in their life, and they're like, oh, well, you know, my therapist did me so much good. I didn't think they were going to for years and years, but now I feel better. And I'm like, yeah, but for years and years, you were completely alone, or you were surrounded by assholes, and now you have somebody decent in your life. Why don't you give that decent person some fucking credit?
Yeah.
Your therapist didn't do that. That person who walked into your life who was a decent excuse for a human being did that. They made you feel better. They made you feel like you were a human being instead of tearing you down all the fucking time.
Yeah, that is true.
A lot of people, they have somebody in their life who tears them down all the time, and they wisen up and get rid of that person, but then they can't financially survive without that person, and they get lonely without that person, so they allow them back.
Oh, I know. I know exactly how that is.
I couldn't defend myself after I hurt my back.
Yeah.
And the only person that was, I had Maddie Boa and Natalie Bollinger, and they made my life worth living too, you know? I don't mean to have panic attacks. She had them too. She knew I had them. They didn't want to understand that I was having a panic attack and I needed help. And instead they treated me like I was a psycho. And I left so they could have that whole fucking state of Virginia all to themselves.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Oh, I know.
Like, if somebody did something fucked up to your daughter and she went to the cop shop, she'd get the same treatment I do unless you went in with her.
Oh, I know.
I tried explaining that to my dad. He's... Fuck. Fuck that dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. He spent a lot of money, but that's the thing, is that he spent money in the wrong places. If I'd have had that money, I could have done something to help myself with that money. Instead, I spent it on... I didn't even spend it. He spent it.
Yeah.
Sean, you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. Sean, if you're going to be here, you have to do this, and you have to do that. I'm like, Dad, I'm overwhelmed, all right? I am overwhelmed. There's shit that I need to take care of so that I can get the things that you want me to have that you're claiming that I can just magically get because you said so.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fucking work that way.
No, it does not.
I'm not allowed to be overwhelmed because I have a penis. I can't be a victim because I have a penis.
Yeah.
I'm mentally ill, so I'm not allowed to fucking have human rights. I'm mentally ill, so nobody will fucking listen. It's the thing, is that I'm not mentally ill, I'm disabled. And there's a big fucking difference. Like, they classify us in the same category as people who have schizophrenia, people with dementia, and people with Alzheimer's.
Huh.
There's an article from Rapid City, South Dakota about how if there's somebody who's autistic and in crisis, they have to send them all the way over to the east end of the state.
Why?
Because they're not equipped to deal with autistic people. They put us in rooms with people who have dementia or schizophrenia or Alzheimer's or people who are suicidal. Like, I'm having a fucking mental breakdown. I'm overwhelmed, which is why I'm having a mental breakdown. Putting me in a room with somebody else who's overwhelmed is completely the wrong fucking thing to do.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, I can only imagine, like, when your son's freaking out, I can imagine your daughter trying to maintain through that.
Oh, no, Tara's fine. She's not autistic or anything. She just has brain damage. But no, she tries to help Anthony, which is really sweet, but it actually irritates him more. So, yeah, I try to get her to stay away from him because he starts to get violent once Tara tries to help out. Yeah.
Yeah, he needs space.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the thing, is that people just assume I'm going to get violent. They just assume I'm autistic like that, and I'm not. You have to be assaulting me or put drugs in me in order to get that kind of reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, I'm scared shitless, and I'm trying not to defend myself. I have to not defend myself, or I'm going to be harmed. And even if I don't defend myself, they try to twist it to pretend that I was. Like, fuck, you know? But the police take complete advantage of that.
Oh, I know they do.
And then they tell me I wanted it, needed it, chose it, and deserved it. Like, no, that's not how it works. I needed help. Every time that I went to the police, instead of killing myself, they locked me up for trying to kill myself. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I came to you instead of killing myself. What the fuck are you doing? I need help. I'm sorry for yelling.
That's okay. I don't call that yelling. I hear worse with my daughter, so yeah, that's not yelling to me.
Yeah, see, a lot of people yelled at me, and then they want to play victim when I just raised my voice. Like if I try talking, like you listen, you understand this shit. But most people, when I try talking to them about it, like they talk over me, and then if I am not saying something that they want to hear, then they'll talk louder than me over me, and then I'm not allowed to raise my voice, but they're allowed to scream at me if I do, and they're allowed to play victim, like stop yelling at me, like holy fuck, I've been listening to you scream for 45 goddamn minutes.
That's messed up.
It is. Shannon Alvarado is that way. I mean, she is.
Malik Ben Khalid typed, "We already care." Thank you. Please fight. Please fight for our voices to be heard. I don't know how to express this enough. We're not allowed to speak for ourselves. We get treated differently by police if we have to go in by ourselves. They intentionally push us to have a meltdown, intentionally. Kind of like when you're homeless. People like Officer Steinman, he'll come up and he'll make fun of your friends who froze to death. Did you hear about the new frozen bumsicle? And then when you say something back, you're arrested for use of fighting words. These fucking cops antagonize the shit out of us, and they think it's funny. I didn't have the ability to record most of these situations in the beginning. Once I did have the ability to record it, well, the police treated me entirely different. That doesn't mean that they were nice. It doesn't mean that they were honest. When I had someone sit with me yesterday, the guy that I had sit with me, he didn't have to say anything. I tried explaining to him. I probably had to explain it to him 5 or 6 times. I don't need you to represent me. I don't need you to speak for me. I can speak for myself. As long as you are there, the police will treat me differently. And he said he didn't understand that. Well, you don't have to understand it. See, if you haven't been through it, you don't get to tell me what it's like. Guy I went to yesterday, I did record it. I absolutely did. I always record whenever I can. Right now I'm pretty stressed out because I need to record some situations, and I don't know how to use these electronic devices. I mean, I have them, and I try to get them to work, but I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. I'm basically guessing. There's a lot of evidence that I destroyed. All right, not a lot. There's about 300 or 400 screenshots that I destroyed trying to transfer them because the guy said, well, if you transfer it, I know that it says it will remove it from all your devices, but it really won't. It's just going to remove it from that specific device. He was wrong. It did erase it, all of it, so I can't get that evidence back.
She screams a fucking shit ton at night, but it's over the alcohol she drinks, and I have to understand that. But then she doesn't understand how that affects me and how it affects her daughter and how it affects the other people in the house. Like, while I was there, before I went there, I thought maybe there was something in the house, like her refrigerator being too loud or things like that that were setting her daughter off. And while I was there, it's not that that's setting her off. It's Shannon. Her constant yelling at night, yelling at Rick.
I'm sorry about the snorting thing. I have Tourette syndrome, and I try not to. The more stressed out I am, the more I do it. When I get super stressed out, I do this with my eyes, and I do this with my fists. That fucking hurts. my wrist hurts quite a bit. And I do want to say that my wrist does not hurt because of what Robert Warnick did 2 days ago. My wrist still hurts from what Officer Waylon Lolatai did to me. It was all the way back in 2018, in January.
And don't get me wrong, he's not perfect. He's no saint. He's a fucking dick for sure. But like, you know, then they have blackout where they turn off all the lights and they play quiet and don't say anything. And then her daughter goes to bed. And it's like, see, she's overwhelmed with you screaming downstairs. And no, she can't get any sleep with you screaming at your fucking boyfriend for fucking 4 hours every night.
Common
And it
fucking
was
sense.
literally 4 hours every night. And then, you know, Shannon vents at me like her boyfriend's not even in the room. She does the same thing that my dad does. My dad, when I'm trying to tell him something, like I get 1 or 2 sentences out, and then he starts fucking being a dickhead, and then he wants his wife to back him up, like, Diane, back me up on this. And Shannon did that so much while I was there. She's like, Sean, what do you think? I'm like, don't fucking drag me into it, but I didn't say that. I can't. Because then she'll turn on me like that, and I don't want that. I can't fucking handle that. I can't handle her doing that to her boyfriend, let alone fucking have to deal with her doing that to me because I didn't side with her. So I sidestepped it because she's drunk. I said, well, make a decision in the morning. Decide that in the morning. And that's the thing, is that when somebody who's autistic is overwhelmed and they need help, they need specialized help. They need somebody who can listen. And that's something that nearly all of us have to deal with, is that people expect us to be superficial, fake assholes, and they project their fucking bullshit on us. Like, I'm not superficial like that.
Oh, of course it starts pouring again. Oh.
I just don't know what to do.
All right, so I can't play this and work on the stuff that I need to as far as typing very effectively, but it's important that with my limited amount of time, the fact that I got court tomorrow, I have to try. I'll be stopping it every so often to start a new video. I think I've got 100 and something audio files overall. We're on number 2 now, and it's an hour and 3 minutes in already. There's about 10 or 15 minutes left in this video, or in this audio thing. When Rawlins Police Department stole my computer illegally, this computer that I'm recording on right now, I was stuck with this thing that I got with Brandon Ratner. That's the thing, is that I told true stories. True stories. But I had, instead of them coming forward to the cops or coming forward in court, I had to record them months and months and months and months after the fact. Because they didn't understand. They thought that because I'm intelligent, that I would be able to do these things. That because Natalie's killer was caught, that everything was done and over with. No, they have kept me wrapped up in court over Clearview since then. And by continuing to prolong it over and over and over again, even knowing that Clearview is closed, they're still just going to drag it out. The police outright lied to me repeatedly in order to coax me into a situation where I was alone. And they repeatedly turned off their body cameras over and over and over again. One of the conversations here, there's a conversation with Alyssa Rainwater and another one with Amanda Jonas. And the one with Amanda Jonas and the one with Amanda Jonas is one of the officers who is helping to try to frame me. Her and another officer who was supposed to do his job. They just never did. What Alyssa Rainwater had to say and what that other woman had to say were not the same thing. I do have Mandy Hughes' phone number now. I can post it up for the whole world to see. She's one of my predators. It's well within my rights to do so. Is it against Facebook rules? Well, might be against Facebook rules. But the thing is, it's not something that I want to do.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I just go day by day, and that's about it.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I do. I go day by day.
I'm
I don't
good.
know if it would help you, but I started writing a journal. I don't know if it would help you or not. I mean, it seems to help me. I write about my day and how I'm feeling and all that. It helps get my emotions out. I don't know if it would help you or not, but
I was writing it down, but I make a video journal because I get overwhelmed by writing it down. It's too slow. My brain is too fast for that. I have to step away because I've been typing it out what's been happening, and like I have to step away from it a lot.
oh, okay, I gotcha.
But I do that. A lot of people suggested journaling, and I was actually doing journaling for a while. It's just I get overwhelmed because I write it down, and then there's a part that I missed, and I can't back it up and insert the part that I need to where it goes.
Yeah.
A lot of it also is that my journaling, at this point, I don't have time to just journal just for me. I haven't been able to do that for probably 4 years now because everything that I write down, I need to write down stuff for other people to get the truth out there because, like, I literally can't take care of myself. The lady I'm staying with right now, she definitely can't take care of me.
Yeah, Jamie Curtis.
But she's also pretty fucking insensitive. I mean, I listen to her bitch about all her problems every day, but then I'm not allowed to. I get snapped
You're
at
not
if I
allowed
do.
to, huh?
No, if I do, I get snapped at. I mean, to some degree, I can a little bit, you know, but most of the time it's just listening to her bitch about trivial shit. And it is trivial shit. By comparison, anyway. I mean, she had a lot better start than I did. I mean, she got to go to a foreign country in high school because of who her boyfriend's dad was, and
Floyd Stegeman.
Wow.
she ended up getting quite a bit of money when it made a difference because her mom died. And I mean, before that, she was dating a guy who was rich. So she's never had to actually struggle ever.
Well, she's lucky.
She is indeed. But also, you know, she's got a lot of men in her life who help her out. And like when she moved into her apartment here a couple of years ago, she had a co-signer, and she had another guy that helped her with money so that she'd get into the place and a lot of stuff like that. I'm like, that's the thing, is that she keeps saying that she did it all herself and she has what she has because she worked hard for it. And I'm like, no, if that dude hadn't code signed and that other dude hadn't given you money and I hadn't showed up to help you move, you would have ended up homeless and your son would have ended up in the system and you wouldn't have gotten to keep any of your shit.
That's right.
I did it all myself.
Jeez, I swear.
The other thing is, I mean, I love her. I love her son. But, I also love my mom still, and I love my little brother Michael still. I want him in prison because he's a child molester, but I still love him.
Yeah, what I don't get is, why'd Ashley go back to him? She left him because he was molesting the daughter. I know that, and he moved in with your mom. Why the hell did she go back?
I don't know. See, like that's stuff that I found out from you. Like I can't answer those questions.
I only found out because your mom told me on Facebook. Yeah.
Yep.
And Michael told me some of it. Not a lot, but he told me some. Yeah.
Yep. That's the thing. I didn't want to do any of this. I got tired of being treated like I'm the bad guy while there's actual bad guys like Michael and Ted Bollinger and Tim Beeson and so many others. Like, and a lot of these predators that people have, they're my predators too,
Yeah.
And my mom's predatory. She's not sexually predatory, but she's a predator for sure.
Yeah.
Trying to explain that to people, they're like, oh, well, who'd your mom rape? I'm like, fuck, you guys are fucking idiots. All 4 of her kids have been incarcerated for shit that she did. All 4 of us, me, Tara, Michael, and Eric.
Yeah.
People are like, you have to love your mom. You have to give her another chance. And, every time somebody says that, I just want to fucking spit in their face. Because I'm like, you know how many chances I've given my mother? And every time it turns out she's just after money or cocaine, and I don't have either.
Yeah, I know how that is. So when I was hanging out at Tara's house when I was a teenager, was your mom on cocaine?
Yeah.
Crap, she hid that good.
Well, it was easy to tell when she had access to it because the house would get cleaned. And you see how dirty the house was 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't really have access to it. She ended up having to crush Michael's Ritalin and snort that.
Yeah, I was wondering because when I was there and Michael was there, his pills would disappear.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember him talking about that. I also remember my older brother Eric telling me about how
Eric's actually my older
Mom and Mickey Spencer were snorting Michael's Ritalin, and Mickey Spencer had a fucking heart attack.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, she survived it, She's got stage 4 cancer now, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mickey was never mean to me. I mean, she was mean to a lot of people from what I heard, but, everybody that I ever saw her go off on, they had it coming. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of like my mom's church group, It's 6 women who show up to have a church group, and I'm upstairs, and I'm not allowed to come downstairs, and it's not a church group. They don't even open their Bibles. They talk about shit and dicks and stuff.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. That's why we weren't allowed to come downstairs. It was basically a bunch of women being vulgar as fuck. I'm like, this is church group, and they got their TD Jakes Bibles. T.D. Jakes' Women's Bible. I'm like, yeah, you have a women's Bible written by a man, and it's supposed to be inspired by God. How many fucking versions of the Bible are there?
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I remember she had those church group meetings, and she made me and Tara stay upstairs. I remember that. Wow.
I remember Kristen Kepler was one of Tara's friends too, and she was only coming over because she had a big old crush on me. But she was fucking straight up psycho stalker status. Like literally the day that I was gonna ask her out, because everybody's like, Kristen Kepler likes you so much, dude. So I was gonna ask her out, and that day she fucking was telling me if I talked to this person or talked to that person, she had a fucking shotgun. I'm like, oh my god. Holy fuck, this woman's psycho.
I remember her. I do. And I actually remember that because Tara was telling me that she threatened my brother Sean with a shotgun. I'm all like, why? Well, he can't talk to certain people. I'm all like, okay.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't threatening me with a shotgun. She was threatening to shoot somebody who talked to me is what it was. But I remember
Oh, really? Okay.
you know the window next to the dog run up there
Yeah.
in my room.
Yeah.
Well, I remember I hear Ty barking one night, and I look out the window, and there's Kristen Kep.
Ty is my stepdad's dog at the time. Tyflo, Tyflo, stands for tear your fucking leg off. That's my stepdad. Of course, he's a little bit more inventive than Michael's dad. Michael's dad, Larry Albert, that guy's a piece of fucking work. He actually broke my mom's neck in Erie, Colorado. My little brother comes from a long line of violent assholes. My little brother, where did he learn it? Good question. Well, my mom was in and out of rehab in the 1980s and part of the 90s, so she couldn't have us kids. Tara got lucky. Tara got to stay with my stepdad, Scott. Michael got to live with his dad. Me and Eric were in the system because our dad was in prison. What was our dad in prison for? Cocaine. And according to my dad, also marijuana and also an AR-15. What's an AR-15? It's the semi-automatic version of the military M16. Fires 5.56 by 45 millimeter ammunition. Pretty expensive. There's a big difference between 223 ammunition and 5.56. You cannot fire 220 or 5.56 ammunition out of a 223. You can fire 223 ammunition out of a 5.56. They have an intermediate barrel that allows you to fire both. It's called the 223 Wild, WYLDE. Well, let's continue with this.
We're in her Malibu, and she's leaning out the window going, shh, 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 trying to get the dog to stop barking. And like, it was probably the third or fourth night in a row that I'd heard the dog barking. It just so happened that night, you know, she had been there for about 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm like, what the fuck is the dog barking at for so long? And yeah, wow. That was one of the few times that Tara actually was like, Sean, I'm really scared to have Kristen come over to the house right now. And I'm really pissed off at you because my friends don't come over to see me, they come over to see you. And it It was pretty obvious. I mean, Kristen would come over and say she was there to see Tara, and then she'd come hang out in my room.
No, I hung out with Tara. I love Tara.
You did
She
hang
was
out
my
with
best
Tara.
friend.
You did
Yeah.
hang out with Tara. Kristen hung out with her too, just not for very long. She always found an excuse to come to my room.
Okay.
Of course, it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, between her doing that and Michael and Drake and the shit they were pulling, I'd rather have Kristen Kepler being a psycho than deal with those two.
Oh, I remember now. Those
Kristen
two
Kepler
together,
wasn't
oh my
nice.
God. Yeah, it was horrible.
I seriously, for a while there, thought they were going to get married.
Really?
Michael,
They were that close. I honestly thought my little brother was gay, and so was Drake.
See, that's what I was thinking too. When I was a teenager, I'm like, wait a minute, this don't look right. Yeah.
If it had turned out that he was gay, I would have accepted him for it. My mom wouldn't have.
Yeah, I
She
know.
is completely anti-homosexual. She also hates Mexicans.
Oh, that's my family too. Yeah.
Well,
I don't get it.
Nebraska-
There's no Mexicans there.
No, I
I
know.
was talking about this town, Chapel, Nebraska.
Thank you for calling. You made me feel better.
Well, you're welcome.
Is there if I'll let you go and call you back shortly?
Well, I gotta get my son, so it's about time for me to go anyways. So, all
All right. You be safe.
right, bye, Sean.
Bye, Amanda.
Bye.
All right. I'll go to the next video. Actually, I'm gonna start another one. I'm gonna end this stream and start another one.